Hi everybody, welcome back to Mission Lamp. I'm here with Aaliyah and Molly. We are in the Womb House and I'm feeling extraordinarily blessed to be here. These are some soul sisters and they have some very, very powerful, divine, feminine balance energy to just flow of their secrets. So I'm gonna like pick their brain a little bit.
Yeah. Shout out to Panina and to the Hart family. Who's gonna be watching this, I'm sure, at some point. Hi Roger, hi Jill.
These are Penny's dear friends and her old home as well. Okay, so I want to begin by asking you. Earlier, you said that you feel that the energy in this house is really up. Well, I came in and I was like, oh my God, this place is a slice of heaven, essentially. It's the womb. It makes sense. And you said it was like that because of very certain conscious ways that you choose to exist. And you felt that this translated into the house. And I was just wondering if you cared to share some of what that looked like.
Yeah. So that's actually like a compliment or a comment, but I take it as a compliment that a lot of people say when they enter our house. Like they say that it's warm or it just like automatically feels good to be in this space. And I think that is because of the way that we interact and treat ourselves and one another in this space and the way that we live, living with like intentionality, as we were just talking about. And I think we are all living in a way that's trying to reach like our highest self, and I think that looks differently for all of us, but we all have our own ways of being in touch with spirit and just like healthful living in like a spiritual way, as well as like the way that we consume. So it's kind of a bunch of random different parts of it, but I think together those things create a house with energy and a space with energy that is uplifting and grounding and warm and comforting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm accurate in this, but I think what you may be hinting at is the importance of like that higher spiritual energy, but actually combined with then each action that you take and each reaction. Like I'm thinking about like recycling, and like a lightness, like it's like every single thing like feels cared for.
Yeah.
It's definitely cared for. I feel like this has always been a space where people can come together ever since I moved in here, and this is going to be my 3rd year living here. And it's changed quite a bit, but I think this has always provided a space for people to come and heal and express. I think expression is really big, and I've definitely felt that over my years here. Yeah, I've changed quite a bit. I'm happy. I don't know what else is out there in Blacksburg, like how else to live.
This is just what we know.
Yeah, which is, it's so beautiful and filled with like gracious privilege.
How do you feel? Okay, so for people who are not living in that kind of way, how do you feel you came to be in that way, or do you feel like you always were? I know that's a really, really big question.
Yeah, but it's good to kind of think about it. I think that like a lot of it has to do with the way that I was raised in a household and by a parent who Like when I asked my dad how something worked when I was little, I'd be like, how does this work? He'd be like, I don't know, what do you think? How do you think it works? And so, and that sort of like way of living and thinking allowed me to be like a free thinker and really like come up with my own belief systems. And I think that really paved the way for me to be like really in touch with spirit and higher divinity. And so I think that like the way I grew up is a big part of it, but I also feel that I've just, and because of that, I attract a certain type of energy. And so the people that I have surrounded myself with in my life help me to cultivate a life of being in touch with spirit and living with intention. I think a lot of people are kind of blind to that side of life, sadly. And that's why.
Well, I think, I don't know, I feel like on this journey, like, I don't know, it's almost like this, like, even if you're on the journey, it can be really hard. Like, I know I've been sorting through lots of hoarding, you know, like hoarding's in my family, it's emotionally rooted, and it's like, I didn't just have this starting point, like even since I was little, I just remember like my room just covered in clothes. Like it's not something, it's because my, you know, there's reasons for it. So yeah, I guess I just want to say that too, is like it's quite a blessing to have had that base point. But for anyone else who's like me, if you're on the journey, keep going. It pays off. Don't give up. It can be really, really hard, but remember that you could be sorting through eons of karma. So, I don't know. I almost feel like it's like there is this, like I can feel it in this space, like we all have reached a certain point of like, because I'm hyper empathic, so a lot of them, I've been trying to transform my own environment because I'm so sensitive to every single thing that might not have been cared for, which I feel like you're saying with a certain level of respect. You know, no matter what it is, even if you have like one banana, like the banana is lying there with like, you know, like you're gonna receive the full life force of that banana. You know, it's not gonna rot and like be thrown away. Even though it's a 30-cent banana, it doesn't matter because you're treating everything with like in the plants in the house, like all of it with love, yeah.
What was your original question? What was the question that, how did we come to be this way? Was that more or less?
Yeah, if you want to share on that, whatever you're feeling.
Just because I wanted to clarify. It's funny because it's like, I don't think that this is like necessarily the optimal way of being for anybody though. You know, it's like everyone has their different body and life and background, like you're saying, both of you and me too. So yeah, just like figuring out what's right for you is so important. But I feel like for me personally, how I even just got interested into like health food, healthy living is through suffering, through my own health difficulties, and emotional difficulties, and kind of some like trauma growing up, and that was stored in my body, and then I felt sick. I was sick. But I'm not completely healed now, but that's what brought me to like, oh, I need to care for myself, because if I was always okay, then I don't know if I would have come here. I would have been somewhere, I feel like, pretty different. So, yeah.
You know, I don't know if you'll be able to speak to this, but when we were talking earlier on the phone, when I was mentioning being just so inspired, I'm so deeply inspired by, that you give yourself this. That you give yourself time for meditation and time for yoga and time to cook a delicious meal and go slow and just to sink in, into those things that, into a cup of tea, like all of it. And I don't know if there's anything you want to like speak to on people, like giving them like the value of the importance of doing that, Because I think that there's a block there for a lot of people. I really do. Like in terms, it's like, oh, why am I allowed to meditate for an hour a day, or or people are, or it doesn't feel like there's time to do it.
Right. But you have to give yourself that time, so there is like a permission, and I feel like this is something I'm personally struggling with right now, and what is a struggle maybe on like the health journey, whatever that looks like for you, is permission to feel good. Permission that you can feel good, and you can consistently feel good, and you can eat food and allow that 100% nutrient banana fill your body versus 40% of the banana whatever. But yeah, there is kind of an acceptance and I don't know what the answer really is.
I think that like part of that, especially where we exist in this on this planet, is like this idea that like of like what of not being fulfilled unless you've been like productive, and like what the idea of like productivity means in terms of like being successful and getting your work done and making money and like being on the go, and like that's just the society that we live in. So for when you're like, no, I'm gonna sit down in silence and not, or whatever, meditate or do a ritual or like get on your yoga mat, whatever. It's not art. Yeah, it's not. It's a different way of being productive, but I feel like a lot of people don't see it as like productivity, because it's not like, I don't know, it's not putting you in a position to make money or I don't know, check a thing off the to-do list. It's not. So people have a hard time like getting into that.
Well, how do you see it as productive?
It's bettering myself. It's pushing me forward to reaching a higher level of spirituality and being in touch with myself and giving myself permission to feel good. And that is success to me. That is productivity to me. It's a different type of productivity, but it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I got something done.
I feel like it, like taking care of myself in whatever time that is going, like that extra time that is going to take me, actually gives me more time in the long run, because I feel better, so I can show up for people. I have more literal, just like, yeah, I was talking to you about this last night, but space. I have more space in myself, in my life, for other people, for doing what I want to do, because I'm more able. It's a matter of health.
Yeah.
And I've really been trying to focus on that, not like a specific image that I need to fulfill, or like I need to look like this way and then I'm going to feel good. It's like, no, I'm going to do, in this moment, I'm going to take an action that is going to make me feel healthy. And if I just follow that, then I will be where I need to be, if I just follow like health.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a really, really important point, actually. The first part being like it pays off leaps and bounds when you take care of yourself, because you actually are full.
Yeah.
For everything in life when you take that moment. But hold on a second. Hold on.
It's okay.
Yeah, and then I feel like the other point you're making is actually extremely important. And I think a block, at least a block that I've definitely experienced, which is where when you become sensitive and you can feel where you got, like let's say wherever point you are on the journey, you have to love yourself where you're at, or you can't do anything. You can't make any step forward. You can't allow any of that in if you're doing it from a place of resistance from where you're at.
Right.
You have to do it from a place of, you know, if I do a little a day, like I'm gonna feel, it's exactly what you said, like I'm gonna feel good the life of that day in that moment. And I might not feel like my, you know, but it'll feel like enough. Like I don't think you're when you're not approaching it from a place of resistance and trying to fix and change yourself, but instead you're coming at it from a place of the goodness that you're going to cultivate and receiving that goodness and letting that be enough on the, you know, that's what it can be, that's what you are for that day, and it's enough. I think that makes a huge difference as well.
Yeah.
But that's really hard to do.
Oh. Because if you know, it's not bad to have goals. I don't think. No, it's not bad to have goals, but it's bad to say that is the only thing that is good in where you're at now versus your goal is not. That was in really layman's terms, but I feel like you guys know it. Just
Yeah. Well, I want to respect y'all's beautiful, sacred energy and life forces. Thank you for sharing time today and sharing about the womb.
this is perfect.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us to share.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amalia. Aw, you remind me what's
you.
good.
And it's so beautiful to get to share in that kind of space together.
Bye.
Bye!
Like and subscribe.
And if they create their incredible food blog, I will be posting about it below. So stay tuned.